Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video. So I just finished playing Pokemon Legends ZA. Yeah, I know it's been months since the game came out. You know, life, searching for a job has been terrible. But I just finished the game and I wanted to give my quick thoughts on the base $70 version, as I haven't touched the DLC yet. So let's get straight to it. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It's always greatly appreciated, and thank you guys for watching. So I'm going to start by just comparing this to Pokemon Legends Arceus, as that's where my thoughts were going on how the game would play out. And to be honest, it doesn't top PLA, but Pokemon Legends ZA isn't too far off. Now, PSA, I went into this game only seeing the trailers, official trailers, you know, like the Malamar trailer, the Mega Starters trailer, obviously the surprise initial trailer, and other than that I went in with zero spoilers. I think this is one of the first times I've ever gone into a Pokemon game with no spoilers, and that honestly made my experience way different, given the fact that I didn't see any of the new megas and all of them were a shock to me. So that really built some excitement in me personally, and hopefully I can continue doing that for most Pokemon games, but we'll see. So the main plot didn't completely grab my attention in PLZA as much as PLA. I don't know if that's just because of the setting that we're in the future, which also was awesome. Like getting told we're only 5 years out of X and Y, that was really cool. But I think I preferred the idea of the past, like going back to the past of Pokemon. I think that was just such a cool concept and a little bit nuanced. Gamefreak really handled that well in Pokemon Legends Arceus. AZ being the quote-unquote villain in PLZA didn't feel as grand as it could have. I feel like the Pokemon Company just cut some corners and didn't flesh out AZ as much as they should have. But again, maybe that was intended, as AZ is a character that we really didn't know too much about, other than he was looking for Floette. He's a descendant of one of the kings. You know, we know a good amount, but we don't know his full story. We don't know like everything. Obviously he's seen everything, but we don't know how much he's affected the Pokemon world. Having Ange as the counter to the ultimate weapon that AZ built for some powerful figure 2,000 years ago in Kalos was really interesting, but I personally didn't feel too moved by that story. What I mean by that is AZ is really trying to right his sins and has obviously been burdened with being eternal for finding the ultimate weapon, but Ange displays a similar level of destruction that it can cause using Mega Eternal Flower Floette, which seeing was crazy. That was awesome. That story did feel shocking to me, but not in the same way as the beautiful perfection of writing that Volo had in Pokemon Legends Arceus. The way Gamefreak handled Volo, I really thought he was just a helpful person in my journey, and then the switch up at the end with Giratina, the whole battle, I thought it was great. That was probably a top 2 to 3 moment, maybe top moment I've ever had in a Pokemon game. Seeing Volo and Giratina at the top, yeah. But like I said, having a lack of, to me, a true quote-unquote villain in this story, I think is personally what's holding it back from putting this game above Pokemon Legends Arceus for me. Now, the ending of this game was phenomenal. Seeing Eternal Flower Floette in general was crazy, as just a longtime fan of the game and the series, and seeing it Mega Evolve on top of that was chef's kiss, you know. Ange fight, albeit a tiny bit too long for me personally. Having Zygarde come down, go into its complete form, and then shield us and fight like it's Superman was just absolute cinema. I honestly thought the graphics looked good in this game. I didn't have too much issues other than, you know, fist bumping and whatnot. The Pokemon looked great. I thought the movement was really smooth. And then at the end, having Zygarde Mega Evolve, even though throughout the whole game we were told that it can't, and you know, I didn't think it could, to be honest. And then using a move like Nihil Light against Ange that's using Light of Ruin is, to me, masterful masterful writing, and I really enjoyed that as a fan. Now, I feel like this ending is the only real presence I truly felt of Zygarde in this game, honestly. Not many people talk about Zygarde as they did with Arceus back in the day, back in PLA, and we don't really know too much about it from now, and how it's handling Kalos now, and how it's protecting Kalos, or even how it was trying to protect Kalos 5 years ago, or even before 5 years ago, other than what we learned from Ellen, somewhat AZ. I think that's another big distinction between PLA and PLZA. Arceus being the almighty Sinnoh, being the one everyone in the town and region worships. It played a huge role in Arceus plays a huge role in everyone's lives, while Zygarde doesn't seem to be that type of Pokemon in this game. Other than voice acting, I think PLZA would have greatly benefited from use of flashbacks like they did from Black and White 2. Getting to see some memories from people in Lumiose cities that were there 5 years ago and still living in Lumiose now when Lysander fired the ultimate weapon would be awesome. I think what really would have helped flesh out AZ even more, and even provide some more just holes that we love as Pokemon fans, just getting to see some flashbacks of AZ and the buildup of Ange and him realizing it, other than just the photos that we saw and him talking about building it. I think just flashbacks of real time AZ trying to fight with Floette, and even prior to Ange, like maybe 5 years ago while he was walking before Floette came back to him. I think just any flashbacks with AZ would have been awesome and really helped build and put plot holes that we need as fans to help speculate as well. Another missed opportunity for me, big time, was Lysander Labs. While it was an amazing feeling seeing it in 3D form, having every single thing destroyed, no secret books, secret items, little traces of lore, was disappointing to me as a fan of the series. You really get no reward for exploring in there like I would have hoped. In the ruined Pokemon Mansion, you could read journals about Mewtwo if you chose to do so. And those little tidbits rewarding the exploration of the space is one of my favorite aspects of the Pokemon franchise. And Lysander Labs just didn't provide any of that. And I think they really missed an opportunity, other than, you know, seeing the files, and they had the stones in there. So you can see aspects of what they were working on, which was crazy. But I think maybe like a book or two, just like a notebook from Lysander or something. It would have been, or not even Lysander, it could have just been from Mabel or even Grisham. I think it would have been awesome just to see that type of stuff, and really what happened 5 years ago. Can we find anything from X and Y to lead us to this type of thing? L/Lysander being back was a complete shock. I was going ballistic when I saw him. I couldn't believe it. I'm so happy they brought him back, and hopefully we'll see in real time what being eternal is like, because we missed on seeing AZ throughout his time and how it really affects somebody. Like, he did gain some memory back obviously throughout the story, and him talking about Zygarde being in Alola really in the post game really tied that loose end beautifully, and I think that was awesome. The battle system is really the highlight of this game. I mean, obviously as a fan, just the lore and the story is what I really look for. For the casual fan, the battle system is really fun and a lot better than I thought it would be. I think this should be the future of Pokemon, just the chaos, the real-time strategy, that different type of strategy that you have to implement in this game for battling is awesome. And I was actually taking a lot of L's in this game. I lost to Corbeau maybe like 5-6 times, and I was raging for sure, but that's something I haven't felt in a Pokemon game since, honestly, Legends Arceus. I hope they continue this system for, honestly, all Pokemon games since Champions is coming out. So we'll see what's happening with that. Just to touch on the new Megas, I think all of them have their own unique design, and you know, some seem a little more than others, but honestly don't hate any of them. I know Starmie and Pyro are really getting bashed on, but there's also, for every Starmie and Pyro, there's ones like my favorite being Chestnut, and even throughout the game, my favorite throughout that I could use in the game was Scolipede or Phalanx. I thought they did a great job with the designs, and I'm really liking every new Pokemon design that they've come out with since Scarlet and Violet. Really, one thing I'll say is I don't know how I feel about so many megas being introduced, especially since I'm assuming they're kind of supposed to fill in that gap of a regional variant. I understand why they're doing that, because it's 5 years after X and Y, a game we've already played and had fleshed out for the most part. So having a regional Kalos form 5 years later just seems kind of weird. So I get it. I'm kind of half and half on the whole megas as regionals. That's how I'm taking it on why there's so many new megas. Other than, obviously Ange is creating that mega energy and whatnot. Overall, as a Pokemon fan, I think this game is still top 2 to 3 game I've ever played in the franchise, and it makes me excited for what's coming in Gen 10. Thank you guys for watching, and oh boy, gotta stop rambling.
Is that? That's it.